Hi, welcome to Barvotti's 73rd live screening of Tools for Creatives. I am Phoebe Bradbury, and today I will be demonstrating some of the tools that I use every day in my art studio, and I wouldn't want to be without them. And I find new uses for them all the time. There will be promotional offers during the program, and the promo codes will be active during the demonstration and for about half an hour after. The current time is 12:04. Central, April the 13th, 2022. Right now, the promotions are only available on amzn.to. I'm on. Okay. Sorry we were a little bit late today. We live on the in Mexico on the Yucatan Peninsula, on the north side, looking towards the Gulf of Mexico, and our internet connection sometimes doesn't work that well. So this morning, we thought we might not be able to have the show, but Amazon finally picked up our I guess, what is it called? Our signal, thank you. And here we are. Right now I'm looking at the painting that was made during the video you just saw. I've got a little bit of green paint up on here. Fortunately, it's not on the painting, it's on a plastic cover, and I will remove that later, I guess. And the name of this piece is, this can't, oh yeah, it is. Yeah, I got it right. Oh, I was supposed to hold it that way. Okay. It's Flamingo Land, and it was painted on December the 24th on Yupo paper by me. Okay, so I'm just looking at, according to this, it should be held this way. And I agree, though it looks like flamingo next to me everywhere. We do have a photograph of flamingos flying in the air over our property, but we just don't have it available. And I'm going to make sure that it's available next time I show this, because we have flamingos flying over both on the seaside and the mangrove side, because we're on a little sandbar. Well, it's a big sandbar, but we're on a sandbar between the sea and mangroves. And so the flamingos live there, and we see them pretty much all year round, but sometimes you can see them a lot. You see them a lot more. And as we're going to buy groceries into the big city, we go through the mangrove swamps or past them, and we are lucky. If we're lucky, we see flamingos on the side of the road. In the water, of course. Okay, so that's Flamingo Land. And that's done Yupo on paper. And I believe, no, that's not the one I was using. I can usually tell, I think I had to be using this one. Yeah, because that's the widest area, but I use this silicone modeler here. It's 1.5 inches. And you saw how quickly it was done. It wasn't done in this way. It was done more like this. I think that's probably why I showed it that way when I came. So you can see that by holding the modeler in different ways, you can get different marks on your paper. And then these marks were just simply made by the same modeler right over top of the whole surface. Okay. So, where will I put this? This one here is one we did. This one is done on freezer paper. So it's got a slick, plasticky side. It's very thin. And it was I do that because it's very inexpensive and I don't have to worry about, selling it or anything like that. So it was done with a modeler like this, in a way very similar to the other one we just saw. This is more like a grid pattern. And let me see, I think I was using my favorite, or one of my favorite tools. I obviously wasn't using that one. I had a few. Probably this one. So I did a little bit of background work using one of the tools that I had. Let's see if I can get it focused here. You can put it right down here. I'm going to see if I can get it in a little bit more. Zoom in and bring it up here and focus. Okay, so you can see how I've cut holes into the edge of the tool, and that's like making a new tool out of a different tool. So I have a number of these that I use in my paintings, and I think last time I demonstrated actually cutting one, and I had made, oops, this one. It's a big 3-inch one, and you can see it's got very irregular cuts there. So may use that later. So that's just goes to show what you can do, just playing around on very inexpensive paper. The big problem with that is if you make something you like, which is, this happens to be one that I like, then it's not on archival paper, but that's okay. You can always scan it. That's what I do, and then I have a very high resolution of it so I can make prints. So here's the other one that I wanted to show you, because this is, okay, I'm zoomed right in. Thank you, Previn. My husband is the director here, and he catches me when I'm not in frame. So this is another one that I really liked that was not, it looks like it was done with the 2-inch, and it's done on the freezer paper, done very quickly, and you'll see that on the way out today. And I believe it was done with the 2-inch modeler. So, and today I'm just going to go through and demonstrate some of these things. I haven't really planned the day, but I have a few things that I have on the top of my mind. I prepared for today, and the preparation didn't work out, so I have to do something different. So here we go. Put it sideways. So one of the, where did I put those? Oh, darn. This is where I set something aside. I know where it is, and I don't know what I did with it. Okay. I think I'll just start with just doing, till I find that, whatever it was. I know what it was, but I just don't see it sitting here right now. So I'm going to just start with demoing some of the, well, I should probably start with this. Okay. These are, you saw our tools, but you didn't see the lovely packages they came in. This is not one of the lovely packages. I've already stained it. But they are in a craft envelope. This is the set of 5 1 centimeter tools, and or 10 millimeters, and it's, you can tell it's the 10 millimeters because it measures 10 millimeters across this. And these come in various sizes, as you saw in the promo. And in case you didn't realize what the promo is, the promo always seems to be, we've set it up so that will be, that you can always buy your selection of whatever tool that we have for sale for 25% off. So for somebody who's on a budget, that's a way to get all the products 25% off, is just wait and get the promo for that day, and you will be able to order it for that amount. Okay, so that's the packaging we use, and that's our website. And on that site, we talk about all of the things that we use, including our paints and stuff like that. And a little thing about what we hope for you and how to care for your silicone art tools. In this case, these are silicone art tools, and we will soon have paintbrushes as well, probably a few weeks. Okay. So I've never used that green because I'm always afraid to use this, so I'm going to be brave and use a little bit of green. Ha. Here's a way to make brown, green and orange. I hope it doesn't turn out brown. And let's see. So just to play around a bit and to demonstrate some of the things I was doing in the show, is I'm going to just swipe through this green here to show you that I can paint with these. See, I can lay down paint with it. And then I can make marks into where I've laid down. If I want to, I can scrape it off almost completely. So these are super for cleaning your palette or anything like that. And I'm just going to set this aside here. I'm not going to wipe it off. I'm going to take one of these toothy ones that I was showing you and just go through it and show you that you can use these ones that we've cut out and go right through that. We could go right through there and right through there. So, and I might want to make a cross mark, so I go, still have the same stuff on my brush, so I'm sort of making, not really a mess, but anyway. If I want to clean the tool, I just use a damp, I have damp face cloths, dark ones hanging here, and I just wipe them off. And they're completely clean. I don't have to, they are damp, but I don't have to put them in water or anything like that. It's much more effective just to use a handy cloth, and I change these out all the time. So now I'm going to go back with the green. I've got the other side, which is clean, fairly clean. I'm going to just put a spread of this turquoise down here. So you can see how some of my compositions start to get made. I'm an abstract artist, and so I'm not trying to make anything real here. So this is, just spread that out, and I ended up with this turquoisey green here, and it came across the yellow. This is an Indian yellow, and it's made this mark, and I'm going to play with that mark. Now, in order for me to use this without contaminating the rest, I'm just going to wipe the paint off of it. I'm going to wipe it off fairly high on this rag I have sitting right here so that I can still use the bottom part of it for other smaller things. So just a quick wipe, very clean, ready to go again. And this is the 2-inch. Let's play with this. Oh, which one would I like to play with? Oh, this is the new one I just made. So I'm just going to scrape up like this. And you can actually work, as you saw from the thing, a lot faster than what I'm doing here. See how interesting that mark is? And that's because it's sort of uneven and stuff like that. I haven't made any diagonal marks, so I was sort of leaving, I often leave diagonal marks to the end, but I usually don't plan at all what I'm doing, so if you think I have planned this ahead of time, you're wrong. So I'm going to put this down here. Now, here's some marks I can just put across there, some diagonal marks. And I can even go like this, and like this. So I'm just having fun here. So I'm not apologizing. I'm just saying I'm not trying to make great art. I'm just playing with colors. And this is usually a warm-up exercise for me when I'm painting large paintings, which I do. And though I haven't for a while. Let's see, what am I going to do with this? I like that piece of blue there. And that's a phthalo blue. These are artists. Ooh, look at that. Pull that through there and look what I've got underneath. No. See, that's a painting in itself. I like that. And so this wasn't done with a lot of energy or anything, and I often do paint, as you saw me from the beginning, with a lot of... I'm going to save this because I like it the way it is. And experience has taught me that when I like it, I stop. I don't fix it, I stop. So I just set that aside so it'll dry like that. Even though they were... I could now put some of that old paint that was in there on there to see what it looks like. So you see, I still got interesting paint in my brush. Well, that's interesting for me because I really tend to avoid putting green on because I have a tendency to make green out of everything just because I like yellow and blue colors. So I'm just playing here. We'll just see. I'm actually using up what was on this. And I can use it up or I can scrape it out. So I'm going to use it up some more. Let me scrape some different marks on there. Maybe marks this way. Maybe marks this way. And I can even put some marks here and here and here and here and here. Okay, so I'm going to pull that off and clean off my brush. I'm thinking, what other colors would I like here? I'm going to try my new, this is phthalo blue and phthalo green mixed. And I've mixed this, it doesn't come in the particular paint that I buy, but really it's so simple to mix together and get your own. It's not necessary to buy a brand new tube of paint just because you don't have that particular color. When you see this color, you'll see why I like it so much. There it is. So that's a phthalo blue mixed with a phthalo green. And I'm mixing it with a toothy brush, or a toothy, I call these my toothy, because I have these teeth hanging out. My toothy mottlers. Okay, I'm going to take a plain mottler here, just to give you a better idea of what the color's like. See how pretty it is? Just on its own. So I will be doing a fair amount more work on mixing colors, but not so much today maybe. So this is a very sort of like a sea green, and as you can see, if I go through and pull it over something that I've already done, there's a ghost. You can see what's underneath. Ooh. Now what happens if I just mix it? I'm just cleaning these off on the side here with my handy brown rag. Okay, I'm gonna see what happens if I put a little bit of this yellow back in here, just to give us an idea of. And I use this to decide how I'm going to mix my paints sometimes. I don't really have to practice it because I've been doing it for so many years. I kind of usually know what I'm going to get. But you'll see here I'm getting sort of a different kind of green. Oops. Now, if I scrape right through, I get the original blue that I had. But on the surface, I'm getting this yellowy, sort of more like a garden green, sort of like a grass green. So a lot of artists, not new artists generally, but think you have to buy whatever color you want. But by playing with something like this, you can get a beautiful, transparent yellow-green, which if you buy a transparent yellow-green from some of the stores is a very expensive paint, but you can make your own. And you can learn how to do this by just playing with these things. Oops. Okay, so that's, I think that transparent green is something sold by Golden. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? They call it, oh dear. Well, they call it primary, oh, green gold. That's it. It's a green gold. And that's a specific color you can buy with golden paints. But if you know your paints, it's a color you can mix. So that's what so this is, I'm going to take that little bit out there. Just leave it in so I know. So this could be like a study on how to mix greens. I'm gonna just make it a little more interesting by scraping through it a bit. So where's my? I keep looking for my rag. I've got them all set up here. So I'm just gonna go like that. And I like to do things like sort of like this, just to sort of add some color to it. Now there's no red in this. So that's a color mixing exercise. And the color that we got here was green gold. And if you buy it in a tube, the beauty of green gold mixed like this is going to be as transparent as the colors that you use to mix it. So what I used here to mix that green gold was a Indian yellow, transparent, a phthalo green, transparent, and a phthalo blue, transparent. And we ended up with green gold, transparent. That's this little bit here. That's the part, that little bit down there. Okay. Okay. Now I'm still thinking about those things that I planned on doing, and I can do, and I will do anyway, even though I don't have the demo here. This is where, okay, this is Yupo paper. Did I explain Yupo? Yupo paper is archival, and that means that it can go into a museum, it can go into an art gallery. If it's properly used, you can, you can sell it, and people can be, people will understand if you call it archival. I'm sure most of you know it. People understand it as something that will last a long time and not turn yellow or etc. All of those other things that happen to stuff that isn't archival. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to grab some Payne's Gray, and I'm going to, what was I going to do? I was going to just spread it smoothly and thinly. And oh, this piece of Yupo, you can tell by when I go very lightly, you can see that I've put a surface on it. So this piece of Yupo was designed to do exactly what I'm doing now, which is to make a very thin surface and then scrape through with different designs. And I think that one, maybe you can find that one, Preben. It was Grandma's quilt or something like that in one of those things. I don't know. It's not really fair to ask him to look up things. Okay, so what I want here is a fairly thin surface, and I was looking for this little spray of water, so I just wanted to make it sure it was kind of damp. Just a sec. I think it's in one of these. Oh, no. Okay, just a sec. Ha! That's hilarious. Set them aside specifically to use. Yep. Okay, so you'll get the idea anyway as soon as I start doing this. So this is just getting a very thin layer of a fairly dark color. And it doesn't have to be a black. Payne's gray is normally considered to be a black if it's put on really thick. Here it looks a little bit like India ink, and I'm going to just warm it up a bit or make it a little more interesting by adding a bit of, oops, my favorite color, or one of my favorite colors. So some blue on there. So I'm going to try and put it on fairly thin. So wipe it off the paint and just grab one of these. Let's just say this one. This is
push it up a little bit.
Okay, push it up a little bit. Thank you, Preben. This means that when I sell these paints, they always have all the backs are always covered with different interesting things. So that's an idea of the kind of mark that you can make. It's dark going through to white. On this case, if I have a different colored background, it wouldn't be quite so stark. But I've been playing with these and I really like them. So you can see this tool makes a very nice mark, but it has taken a while for me to get to learn to do these swirly marks so that they don't look sort of awkward like this, you know. So I went through a long stage like that. But then I discovered that that I had to learn to move with a little more. And I learned a lot of these by doing gold. I painted a lot of things black, and then I went through and painted them, and put some gold on the surface, and then I got, here's one. Oh, where's one? Here's one of these ones. So this was black with gold, using that, only the gold is the paint coming up. In this case, what we're doing is we're scraping through. So we're scraping through to a background. So this sort of looks a little bit, probably pretty boring right now. So I'm just taking the mottler, and whereas I was holding it up like this before, I'm holding it like this, and it's now spreading the paint back on it. So I got a little bit more time to play with this, and they are a lot of fun to play with. So you can make designs going through. Let's see what I'm going to do here. I can't seem to just go straight, so I'm just going to go straight. I always try to do just what I think I can't do. So that gives you an idea of what. I don't care for that sitting blocked off there, but let's just keep playing with it. Because I can now go like this, pull some off. I can go like this, pull a lot off. So I've basically given myself a surface to play on with maybe one color. Okay. I once took a course at art school, and it was before I actually went back for the real program, the 4-year program. So it was a weekend course. I had a 3-year-old child, and when I got there, we spent the whole day in front of this huge piece of white paper, and we were supposed to explore our marks with hundreds of little marks. And I got about 2 hours into it, and I thought, well, I think I'd rather be home with my daughter right now. So I never completed the course, but it was very important at that point that, at least according to that class, and I have since learned, that you learn to make marks that are sort of your own marks. My marks are often, grids and different types of patterns like that. So here I'm just playing with this, and I'm going like that, and I might go like that, and I might go like that. So you can see that the different ways that something like this, you can just take a plain little, this is just a plain mottler now, and I'm making all of these different marks. And there's my I think of that as my flamingo mark, but it's not really. It's one of the marks I use for making flamingos. So I can go back over that. So, and the other thing is it doesn't look very good until you pick it up. You've got to pick it up, because when you're looking at it down there, you're looking at where you smeared over the edges. And you've probably, if you're like me, you've done a lot of smeary things that aren't really part of the composition. So is this a composition? I don't know. I can start over again. I can give myself a little more spray of, very careful not to put too much water in, because then the lines become quite soggy. But you can for a while play with it. You can add colors to it. You can scrape through to what's underneath. So just as a way to relax and, I don't know, relax and meditate. It's great to do with music. Okay, I'm going to wash this a little bit. I really like having this thing there. So I could add another color to this, but it's very pretty, and anyway, just the way it is, I think. And so I'm just going to fool around. Okay. And then I'm going to, what am I going to do? I have to pick it up to see what it actually looks like. And it's okay. It's not, it's like a gesture. So I'm playing with gestures right now. And I can go in and ungesture it, like put squares and stuff like that in there, which might, I know. I'll put my flags in. So when in doubt, Phoebe makes flags. And so there is a composition which is a little questionable. Is it a composition, or has she left out too many things? I don't know. Is it boring? I don't know. I think I'll put a little bit of this in. When in doubt, put some of these things in. But if you have a whole toolbox of these kinds of things, it's just an extra. No, I put one there, and I could put one here laying it down. Well, it's not quite the same, is it? Where do I have to? I think that's fine. I think I'm going to leave that just the way it is. I think it's a little more interesting than the way it was a few minutes ago. And yeah, that's good. So Preben, would you go show the, what were you going to show? The many ways that this is used? Mm-hmm. Anyway, because I... No. So I still didn't find what I was looking for, which was the examples of what we were studying here, or looking at. So I want to show you briefly here something called the secret message painting. So you just fool around with what we were doing. These are both. This is done on Yupo paper. I did it a long time ago, long before I was doing this online. And there's a white edge on it. And then I went through And I just put I wrote it my secret message, and it was I cannot love you. And I don't remember who it was for or what it was about or whether I was supposed to put another sentence in there, but you don't really know that message is there unless you've been told or unless you actually see it. So it's kind of fun to do them. And I've been trying to think of where would I put a secret message. So I made one like this just the other day. It's called, I think I should have called it Gone Fishing, but I think, what did I put on it? I think, is it upside down? It is, yes. I put Going Fishing, so you can, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so you can actually see it. So I'll use one of these things so I can point to it. Can you tell me if it's working, Previn? Because I don't know. G-O-I-N-G, fishing, F-I-S-H-I-N-G. So I was thinking maybe it'd be better to make a gone fishing so people, you could always say, well, I did leave a note. Or at the bar, I did leave a note. Or I don't know. Anyway, it's kind of fun to make them. This one was more planned because I used this type of smaller brush here. Not brush, but these shapers. We call these ones shapers. They have a wooden handle, and they have a long wooden handle. We call these ones mottlers because they're like a mottler brush. And the handle is a compressed plastic, so if it does get lost in water, it doesn't break or anything like that, and the paint doesn't flake off. It's got a nice hole for hanging it above the desk. I'm more used to using these than these. That's because I'm an abstract painter and I like to paint really large. So this is a small paintbrush for me, and this is tiny. But I'm going to just do one more of these. I'm not sure that's it. Nope. It's weird. So sometimes I prepare stuff ahead of time so that when you have something to scrape through, it's a zoom out. Thank you. Oops, it automatically zoomed in again on me. It was like, oh, I'm not going to be these. Okay. So I did prepare this ahead of time. It's got a dark color there that you might want to cut off if you were doing it for yourself. I'm okay with that. I'm going to put a fairly dark color. So that's the phthalo blue and phthalo green mixed up. And I'm going to just spread it around. Oh yeah, this could be an underwater thing. And that little dark thing on the side won't matter so much. I think I should maybe just add a bit of more of green or more blue. I don't know. Phthalo blue. I'll just add a bit more blue. There's quite a lot of green in the background here. So one of the things I did is make a sort of like a pathway. I call it the yellow road, and I don't know where I put it somewhere. So it had a yellow background, like this. This one's going to be the green road. And it might be something that you would do for a child or something like that, or just out of interest for yourself to play around, get to know the tools, learn what they can do. And it's like, choose a nice color that you like. So it must be pretty obvious to people that I like blue. I do like other colors, but okay, so this is like an in and out picture. So I'm going to start here and I'm going to end there, and I'm just going to go walking along a road. Now, I could put a background behind it, but that might complicate it a little bit. So maybe I wonder if I should. Okay, I'm just going to put a bit of background behind it. So a little bit of that, a little bit of that. So this could even be a fish one where you could play with fish and stuff like that. So just to make it, so I'm just going to fool around. Just going to go around like this, like that. I want to make it very clear where I've gone, because if this is a 5-year-old following it, then they might want to have the satisfaction of actually starting at the beginning and getting to the end. And so I've made it pretty easy, I think. So you go behind, around, so you're behind here, see? Around, wiggle, 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 down, wiggle up again, wiggle around, 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 around. Oh, I thought I was going to go out. Oh, I didn't go out. There, out. Okay? So that's just a game, a fun thing to do with these. Child might like doing it. Ah! Okay. And I'm going to take off put the paint down because I don't need it anymore. I'm going to rub it off. Actually, I'm doing pretty well today. I usually go through about 4 of these rags before I, not rags, face cloths before I through in the studio. And so far, I'm still on my first one, so I'm quite pleased with that. Okay, so how are we doing? 46. Okay, I want to show you something that I did show before. Oh, this is the yellow road that I did yesterday. So I think today's, let's just look at it. Is today's blue road it's definitely an improvement, I think. I'll try not to do this every week, every time, but that's the yellow road, and I had a yellow background, and this is the blue road I did today. And I think it's prettier, but probably helped having that little bit of background there. Could that be the green road? I don't know. Okay, put it down. Put that one down. And I was just about to show something else. Okay, so when I did the blue scrapey through thing, this is why I made the scrapey through thing. Well, this is one of the more advanced paintings. Let me see if I can find one of the earlier ones. Oh yeah. Here's sort of one of the beginning ones. It's done on a board. And that was using, what is it? This really complicated tool. I'll show you there on the edge there. You can see that it's got a lot of teeth. And you can see the movements are pretty flat. And so worked quite a lot to get the movements more interesting. So I think this is a much better rendition. I've done a few like that, but that's probably one of the best ones. This is on our way to there. And yesterday we did, not yesterday, it was Monday. We did this one, and the name of this one is called Discordant. And that's partly because when I'm looking at it, some of the stuff came apart. You can see some of the movements are very similar to what I've done for other things, but it's just, varying the different things there. So I'm going to just do one of those today because I have black paper, and I think people enjoy watching them, and they're fun. So this is just UPO paper with a black surface. And it took me a while, like it's not that easy to put a black surface on UPO paper, so I have to it's such a slick surface that I usually have to put at least 2, maybe 3 layers of black very thinly, and then I get a decently black surface. It doesn't have to be completely black. But is my mic working? Because it's kind of turned inside out here. I guess it must be working. Nobody's complaining? Good.
Push it up a little bit.
I just did push it up a bit. I need Preben to help me open this big thing. Thank you. Thank you. That's great. So this is just a mixture of a gold paint, and it's mixed with a fair amount of what do you call it? Gel, gloss. And there's no color, there's no sort of background color in this. I could put a bit of a background color in it, but if I do, I have to use a transparent color, because if I don't use transparent, then it will cover up the little gold flakes that are in there. So I'm going to use some of this transparent Indian yellow. I haven't used it before, and we're going to see what happens. I've used red, and so red, ooh, it goes quite yellow, yeah. So red works quite well. I get a very pretty, the flamingo one that we showed you, that was actually, it was done on a white background, but it was a mixture of gold and quinacridone red to get the pink. So I'm going to just show you that. So this is a metallic paint here, and I've got it, it's in a slick cover, but it has, you can see when I twist it, it's got a slightly metallic tinge. So it was basically this gold with a high quality transparent paint in it. It's a quinacridone red. It doesn't say that on there, but that's what it is. And I like quinacridones because they are transparent. And I like Indian yellow because it's transparent, and then I can use it with these sort of things. So today we're getting a very yellow gold, and we have to think about how we might use it. And I don't know whether I have enough on here. I think I do. If I put too much moisture on it, it'll fall flat. So, oops, splat, splat. Let's just try this wonderful new thing I got here. Oh. So I don't think it's that wonderful right now, actually. It's very yellowy, yellowy. So it doesn't look very gold right now, and that's because it has to dry, because that's when the medium that holds the gold in it goes clear. So right now it's sort of a pasty color medium behind it, so it looks kind of like a wax crayon or something like that. But when it dries, it will go just as clear as the other thing. So I'm just going to wipe this off while I'm at it. Okay. So with these tools, what I find, I'm not the type of person that normally cleans as I go, but what I found is that these are so easy to clean as I go that it's silly not to do it. It just makes such a difference at the end of at the end of the show, and I'm doing 3 shows a week. So just wiping it with a damp cloth puts it clean enough that it can go right back in the toolbox. It doesn't have to be washed or rinsed or anything like that. So I thought I would just, because I said something about how much I like the red, I'm going to add a little bit of red to this through some areas, just to see if we can add a little bit more interest to it. Now I have to close that. So, what am I going to do with this? So don't expect a lot of the red to, it will mix with this, and but I'm going to use the grid things. I'm not going to use that great big one I just made. I will probably use this big one here with the big openings like that on my larger paintings. And have you got a moment to show them my new? I'm soon going to have a new studio with a way to paint large paintings. And Preben's just put that up. So that's the size of painting I normally paint with. So you can see why. Yeah, I normally use much bigger brushes than this, and also, so it's going to be possible for me to paint those things. That doesn't mean I won't continue to do this. It's just, okay, we can go back to this. Oh, we are back. Good. So this should be kind of interesting. So what I'll try, with the wax paper behind, I'm not worried about going over the edge. I like my things to continue over the edge, so let's just see what else we got here. We got this one. And then we can actually go with things like this. I actually want one a little wider. I think that's this one. Okay. Oops, narrower there. Nope. So now I'm planning too much. This is not the best thing for me to plan. Let's go that way. So what's going to happen here, I think, is that these lines in the background are going to look like lines coming from the background. And these are the foreground lines. Here's maybe I have a thing about fences that look like this. I don't know. So what do I want to do here? No. No. Here we go. Here we go. Here's one I made from a hole punch. Now for this to look like they're on top, I have to make it go over like this. And now it's looking very complicated, isn't it? So my tendency at this point is to say, uncomplicate it. Quick, uncomplicated. It's very, very, well, the first thing I would do to uncomplicate it is to lift it up and see if it really is too complicated. And I think it is. So then I just take one of these smoothie ones and do stuff like this. I might even do it like that. So by doing this, I make these come to the surface. These are the surface to the painting. And all the rest of it is the background. So I can play with this type of idea for hours, for days. So, and if I want to, I can even go right over these guys and make marks in them. But I think I should sort of say, you uncomplicated it for a reason. You don't have to keep complicating it. So that's I'm just going to uncomplicate it with one more stroke here. Oops. And I'm going to pick it up. And you can see the shimmer of the gold, and I think I ended up with sort of an orangey color here, not just yellow, but there may be variations through it. So I'm okay with this. I'm not thrilled, but I'm okay. So I'm going to put this down, and that's going to be our show for the day. Ooh. So, thank you for joining us here. You can find us here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Central to do demonstrations, try new things, answer your questions. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Friday.